The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online, a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you can post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, no retribution, and where you should subscribe to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/GaryBaumgarten. To read about items in the news that you may or may not read about, hear about, or see on the mainstream media. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. Boaz, speaking of CRN Digital Talk Radio, they're located in Sunland, California, and I was just looking at a map of the evacuation area for the fires in Southern California, and they're right in the evacuation area. In fact, CRN Digital Talk Radio founder Mike Horn was going to join us to tell us about the fires, except he's busy evacuating family members right now from their homes. Are they still on the air? Are we still getting syndicated today by CRN? And what is the situation in general there? I know that 2 firefighters sadly died battling the blazes thus far.
Well, first of all, good evening, Gary. Good evening to everyone. The situation is not so good at this point. Only 5% of this fire is contained. The fire is spreading and it's burning rapidly. This massive fire, which most of it is in the Angeles National Forest, if you look at the map that I'm projecting now in the virtual auditorium, Gary, you'll see there are three areas of fire. The fire in the middle is where the Angeles Forest is. And that is also exactly where CRN Digital Talk Radio Studios is located. As a matter of fact, this morning I spoke with Eric Hines. He's the lead sound engineer at CRN Digital Talk Radio. And what he described to me in that area, it doesn't sound very good. For the first of all, there are a whole bunch of fire trucks right in the parking lot of the mall where CRN is located right now, and they've apparently using that as a staging area because if you stand in the parking lot, which you were there, Gary, yourself, if you stand in the parking lot looking north, you can actually see the flames looking north. And the flames are only maybe 500 or 600 feet away, and the flames are that's that close. They can actually see the flames. The smoke is very thick in the area. The smoke is not only thick outside, but it has also, as described to me by some of the personnel at CRN, has actually penetrated the studio itself. They can smell the smoke in the studio. They've shut down a lot of roads in the area. They have executed mandated evacuations. The bigger picture is that there are some 12,000 to 15,000 homes that are being threatened by this fire. Hundreds of homes have been lost already. As you had mentioned before, Gary, 2 firefighters had unfortunately been killed earlier as a result of their fire truck driving on a very narrow mountain road, and they went off the road, and that's how they lost their lives. And our hearts, of course, go out to their families and their friends. So there is a lack of wind. Basically, the fire is burning everywhere. U.S. Forest Service spokeswoman Diana Cahir said, when it gets into canyons that haven't burned in numerous years, it takes off. And this is exactly what is happening. Everything is very dry, Gary. We've had a long, dry summer. There has been very little rain, so everything is brittle. And it doesn't take a lot for this fire to catch. Up till now, as of now, the fire has burned about 134 square miles of brush, and only 5% of the fire has been contained at this point. There are more than 20 helicopters and air tankers that are dumping water and retardant over the flames. 2 Canadian super scoopers, giant craft that can pull thousands of gallons of water from lakes and reservoirs, are in action. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger on Monday issued emergency declarations for the counties of Canyonlands and the county of Los Angeles for mandated evacuations. And speaking of these mandated evacuations, Gary, you know, the authorities, the sheriff's department, the Los Angeles Police Department, are having a lot of problems getting people to evacuate. You know, we're hearing these stories about people that are refusing to evacuate from their homes. They're standing on top of the roofs of their houses with water hoses, watering down their houses. The flames are only maybe 100 feet away from them, and they're still hoping that that these flames will not reach their houses. I'm going to go to the second picture here, Gary, and this picture here that you're looking at right now is the specific area that I'm talking about, where CRN Digital Talk Radio is located. If you look at the big red area with the 3 big arrows, the 3 big arrows show the directions in which the flames are spreading. So it's spreading north, it's spreading west, and it's spreading south, more or less south.
Southeast.
And southeast. And it's a very large area, about 120 square miles. Now, within that area, Gary, there is a mountain there that is called Mount Wilson. Mount Wilson is the highest point in the area, and it is of special strategic importance because on top of that mountain you have some 20 television and radio transmitters. There are cell phone transmitters up there, and there are 2 very famous astronomy observatories up there that firefighters are frantically fighting the flames to keep the flames away from that area, because if not, then that whole area, including the equipment on the mountain, will be consumed. But so far they've been successful in keeping the flames away from there and in other parts also. Here's another picture, Gary. You're looking at the downtown area of Los Angeles. You're looking at the downtown area from south to north. You can see that huge plume of smoke in the background. Now, just so that you get an idea of what we're talking about here, that plume of smoke behind the downtown Los Angeles area is some 20 miles behind that area. So you can imagine how big that plume of smoke is and how big that fire is. And that's just one area, and it is pretty bad.
I also want to urge everyone,
and now we'll hear from
any of the fires,
governor.
Please